welcome to the Chainsword Diaries. Chainsword Diaries is coming to you from Immortals Inc. Studios. So guys, this week we're going to be talking about tournaments, and we've got an event coming up ourselves, and wanted to talk a little bit about the tournament environment, because there's a lot of misconceptions going out there about, win at all cost players. I know everybody's talking about that's whack, man, and just want to shed some light on what you guys' tournament experience has been like being new players, and what you look for in a tournament. So, Jeff, what you got? You've played this game a little bit longer. Tell us what you think about tournament play, because I know you've got some pretty strong opinions.
I do. So, I don't know. It's like local tournaments are way different than like the big, the massive tournaments. So, it's interesting because part of me, like, I mean, you guys know me. I'm pretty much I would say I'm a fluff player at heart. So like, I like to see like, thematic.
Is that what you call not playing good models, fluff player?
That's what we call them behind their back.
Let's call that. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Whatever. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I mean, it's fine. I'm used to it. It's like I play the models I like, and I go from there. So okay. Regardless of how good they are, I know you're like dying inside.
I like picking on you. I love picking on
So there is part of me that does get what's the term? I don't say irked, but it does get hurt, or not hurt. I don't know. Disappointed, yes, in the tournament scene. So like when I see like when people say they're playing like guard or something, and that involves bringing Custodes, Blood Angels, and then a detachment of guard, like it just kind of makes me feel sad.
Technically, they are playing guard if the majority of their list is guard.
Yeah, if the warlord.
Yeah.
It's like but I don't know. It's like, or like they bring guard like just for the unit of mortars, and then they have. So I don't know. And like with Adepticon, like there was the million of hive tyrants. Like I get it, you can do it, it's great, but I just don't see the.
I agree. I actually agree with you. It is disappointing.
Whoa. Let's pause. Let's pause for a moment. G is agreeing with a competitive tournament scene point made by Jeff. He's agreeing with it. Right.
Absolutely. I agree that the 7 Flyrant Hive Tyrant thing is.
There was 5. No, it was 5. There were 7 in one, but there was 5 in a Shadow Sword. I did double check it. 5 Hive Tyrants and a Shadow Sword. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Now the thing is, though,
that's not even cool.
I do. That is disappointing. I think that's a great word for it, but it is also, I'm gonna put expected at that level of tournament play. I don't think you will see it at the local.
I agree.
Stuff, but I think it's expected.
And it's disappointing that it can happen. In both, like, it's disappointing that people do it.
I think it's going to change.
It's disappointing that you can do it, and it's disappointing that people did it.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen for the eternity of 40K, the existence of the game.
With the way 8th edition is, it will, because they're not going to discard the Supreme Command. They're not going to disregard all these open stuff they have.
It's not just 8th edition. It's every edition.
It's
every edition.
Yeah, but you couldn't do that. Like, you couldn't do 5 Hive Tyrants last edition.
So just because you couldn't do 5 Hive Tyrants last edition doesn't mean that you didn't take the maximum amount of the most cost point effective unit.
Right.
I agree.
Which is what you did.
Whatever.
I agree, but like at least you still had to have, like, there were formations, yes, and they kind of blew off the doors of like the typical combined arms, but there was still some semblance of an army, like, albeit it was thin then, with Death Stars and stuff, but now it's getting even thinner with the fact that I'm just going to run 5, 7 HQs. Like, it's getting worse, I think, because the openness of 8th edition, which is it's a blessing and a curse, I think.
Let me play devil's advocate here, because again, I am more.
Because we're on the same side, actually.
Yeah,
I know.
I gotta.
I am actually not fighting, on all sides here.
I gotta fight. I gotta fight for the tournament side of things, because the two things when you're talking about.
Well, let me be clear. I'm not against I don't want to say it's the tournament.
Yeah, neither one of us are against.
It's just, I think the way they made the game, it's opened the door for this kind of stuff, which I don't like.
And at this level, what we're talking about at the GT level. We're not talking about a local.
Sure.
We're talking
about the difference.
Yeah, right. We're talking about a tournament where you expect to see the most cost efficient models on the table.
Right.
And in the way that 8th edition has been built, for at least the first time in my experience with the game, when you looked at the top 16 armies at Adepticon, there were 7 different factions represented.
I will say that is a positive for sure.
And the reason that you can do that, and the reason that that is possible, because of the asymmetrical balance that is brought to the game by these extreme lists. Because if you were to play Tyranids in a stock army way, where you're just filling out what used to be a combined arms detachment, they don't hold up to, say, the Gilliman gun line. They don't hold up.
Well, I don't
to
think
an
a lot holds up to the Gilliman gun line on a mono faction basis.
Well, but that's the thing.
Chaos. I mean,
Chaos.
Gilliman Gunline's not good anymore. It's not.
Geez, selling.
Tyranids have this. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I
The
don't-
game.
but I think
Here's the one thing. Let me
Sure.
cut you guys both off.
Sure.
What I do like, to second your point, is every major event, a different list has been winning.
Yep.
Now we have seen spam in every major event,
Well,
right?
spam's always going to be there.
Spam's always going to be there, and like we've seen chaos spam, and then that'll win. Eldar spam that won. Tyranids now spam, and then that wins. So I think that's going to happen. But if we look at it,
Wait, which tournament did Chaos win?
when Chaos Soup was hot and it was like Mortarion and yeah, so we are seeing, like, it's not like just pick one of the 3 that, you know. So let's just say, or actually let's go back even further, that Astro Militarium, when that was just winning and nothing. Something is always, it's the top. There's been a new king of the hill. Sure. However, like, yeah, something has to be done about spam. That is the thing that
I think,
that
honestly,
try to work on.
I think the Supreme Command Attachment's the issue.
Supreme Command Attachment has to go for
I
sure.
agree.
That just has to go, because
You get plus you get a command point for it.
yeah.
Like a patrol
You should
gets nothing.
lose a command point
At least.
for that. One
just
command
get rid of it,
point,
frankly.
and plus, you gotta just get rid of it. Just get rid. You don't need it.
Yeah,
I think that'll solve a lot
only
of
encourages
issues.
that.
Literally, that
There's-
meme
yeah.
with like that Avengers meme, but it's like, oh, Incredible Hulk. Like that. Yeah, because like that, I think that is the issue. So like, it's very cool, because you're right. There's a different list winning. Unfortunately,
think
that
that's
winning
good, yes.
list, there's 7 of them in the top 8. So
I disagree with that.
You know,
I disagree with that. There were when you looked at Adepticon, there were 2 7 Hive Tyrant lists. There was the 5 Hive Tyrants and the Shadow Sword.
And there was
And
multiple 3 Hive Tyrants.
And the next Tyranid list didn't come until you got outside of the top 10, and it was an entirely different build.
okay, so 3 in the
top
top
10.
8.
Versus going back to my days of when I started.
No.
when
Let's
you would
just look at this. Let's just look at this competition. No back in the day stuff.
Okay.
What else doubled in that same top 8?
There was
How many Eldar? How many
There was only one
duplicates?
Eldar player. There was
how
one
many-
Chaos player.
There
Okay.
was Chaos. There was Custodes.
Yeah, one Custodes player that came
Well,
in
with our
7th.
SS.
Yeah,
Sure.
Imperial Soup.
Soup.
Soup. Yeah.
Right. And then
Okay.
Blood Angels player made it
Okay.
into the top 8.
Oh,
So-
that's right. He was hardcore Blood Angels.
So
I
then my
respect
point
that.
stands is that the winning the top dog, there are multiples of that list.
Which I think
that
that
is
plays,
happening.
So I think it also boils down to what missions are used.
2 Chaos. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
I knew there had to be a double.
What
another
missions
double.
are used are big because
Yes.
like the missions that the LVO really favorite the Eldar stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then the missions here really favor
Kill
that
points.
those kill points. So that's why you saw more of that, Supreme
Elite
Command,
list.
elites,
Yep.
the super killy stuff.
And then Nova is a completely different meta.
Right.
And then Warzone, which is becoming its own major down in Atlanta with Paul Murphy and the guys. That's a whole different set of tournament.
So you could argue
styles,
though
too.
the reason that the top lists are different is because of that, not necessarily because of 8th edition.
You're seeing it though within
I
the
think
same
I don't
tournament.
think it's one or the other. I think it's a combination.
Maybe it's a combination. You have to have different missions in order to find holes
Sure.
in the armor,
Sure.
and
Right.
if it's the same
Sure.
fight always, it's just maybe it'll be the same thing over and over.
Right.
So, okay. I agree. It is disappointing. It's funny because day one of that competition of Adepticon, I was like, sweet, it's on stream, let's watch it. And then I was super pissed that they're like, how do they not televise the top 8 of this major? And then I was like, I was like, oh, thank God they did not televise or stream stupid 7 Hive Tyrants. And because lists were like so not fun they weren't fluffy and they weren't fun to watch, that sort of thing. Like, I'm sure they were good. They were excellent tournament, I'm here to win type lists, but they weren't entertaining to watch type builds. Right. So and that's where I was like, oh, all right, well then that's fine. I'll just go watch some Shadespire or something else. No problem.
I think that there's a lot of, this is one of the things that there's a lot of misconception about, because people are playing these, what everybody else feels is a point and click list. They kind of devalue the level of play that happens at a top table.
I don't think so.
Well, G just said it wasn't something that he'd want to watch. And
I don't think he didn't want to watch because it wasn't going to be a display of skill. I think he just didn't want to watch because it wasn't going to be a fun match to watch.
The skill level, I know it's high, but just those lists, I wasn't interested in seeing those lists.
I think that at least for me personally, there's a lot that I learn in seeing those lists from watching players utilize them, because there were players that brought 7 Hive Tyrants that finished 150th or 170th because they didn't play with the level of skill that comes up. So it's not just the list that intrigues me once I get to that. It's watching what players like a Nick Nanavati or Aaron Along or Tony Kopach, or pick your great player. Or I know Juice did really well at this turn. He was wasn't Juice the guy that was playing Blood Angels, or did Juice bring? Well, it's not important. I know that Juice
played Tyranids or not.
Juice might have played. Juice either played the Blood Angels list or he was the one who played the Shadow Sword. But in any event, this is
an ends of the spectrum
Shadow
right there.
Sword, Tyranid. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, but in any event, I really enjoy watching players play at that level, because there's so much that I can learn in the movement phase of what they do. So much I can learn in how to deploy an elite list like that, because while I may not play 7 Hive Tyrants, I do play
7 more Tyrants.
Yeah, I do play a list that...
Or you can't deploy because he had spore mines everywhere or something. Yeah.
I do play a list that has 7 strong drops, and I can garner...
But look out for those spore mines. You won't be able to drop it.
You can't drop anymore. You can't move. And then he just deep strikes. It's not even... I actually... Yeah, you're right. When you see the best do anything at the highest level, you can always learn from it.
Yeah, you can appreciate it. But
however, I just... No, you just drop that spore mine so you can only deploy in your zone, and then you can't deep strike, and then turn 2 they bring in the high. It's like, to me, those lists, you only play them one way. Like every game, you play it the same way.
Follow the steps.
You follow the steps every single. You play 6 rounds. You do the exact same thing every single game, every single round. That's why I don't like those lists.
Yeah, I like to see it when people get kind of thrown off and they got to kind of rebound and see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
Always like,
improvise a little. There's no improvisation in those lists. It's just spore mines over here, these guys over here, do this on there too, and spend the strategy, and go on.
Now
that's exactly
to scale this back. I feel like what we've turned this into, because it's not this isn't a overall picture of what every top tournament is like.
That is true. Adepticon,
in my opinion, had bad mission design because
it favors kill points.
It favors kill points so heavily. When you're looking at 20 points out of every mission are going to be kill points, you're saying only bring stuff that's going to either A, stay on the table forever.
It's out of 40, right?
Yeah.
So it's half.
Yeah.
Kill.
Well, I mean, we've played in tournaments where it's, a good portion of the missions favor kill points, and you see how it totally shifts the gameplay, and it shifts
shifts the meta.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, yes, it shifts a lot of that, and frankly, killing is great. It's fun. Sorry, killing stuff on the
In-game.
table in game.
Sure.
Parents, we
All the
say
time.
in game only.
Yeah, in game
Yeah.
only. But it gets old after a while. Like
Yeah.
to say like this, all we're
Stale.
doing, like
It's stale.
this mission is kill. Next mission is kill.
Yeah.
Kill. Like
Any
It's
mono.
either kill or the relic. You're like, oh,
oh, it's like
Oh,
damn it.
the relic.
Why?
Although I have to
we
say,
struck a chord with
You look
that.
forward to the relic, actually. Like
I have to say, so this is
I don't think
this
I've
is
met
killing me.
anybody
My
who's like,
son,
yes, the relic.
my son pointed out to me the other day is I've now played the relic in 3 tournaments in 8th.
Wow.
I'm undefeated in the relic.
Oh, snap.
Oh man! Sounds like you need the
Finally.
relic more often.
No.
Yeah, now you need
I
it.
still hate that mission
Yeah.
because
He's
the second
bringing the
game
meats.
the second game I won was the worst bullshit game I've ever played. I had no reason. I had 6 models left on the table.
But you had the relic.
I made the guy drop the relic on the last turn and picked up the relic.
That's it, man. Make them
Like,
fumble.
oh,
That's right. Make
So-
them. When they got their sausages on the grill, and you're able to swoop in and just nab those sausages, pack that meat. You got it.
Good way to force the meat reference.
yeah.
I tried.
It didn't
Yeah,
feel
it
strained.
didn't feel natural, but
No,
all
it
right.
didn't feel strained at all.
So,
Not at all. No.
so,
I wasn't reaching or anything.
so I mean, we've done a lot of complaining and bitching.
Yes.
About that end of the spectrum of that kind of tournament, and I guess the reason we're talking about tournaments today is because we have collectively decided to start including more tournaments in our repertoire. More regularly.
Good word.
yeah.
And
$5 words right there.
Yeah.
Repertoire.
Yep. I got $3. I got
$10 word.
I got
man.
$3 left. So and now we are specifically going to be doing some ITC missions, and why
Shout
don't
out to
we?
Frontline Gaming?
Yeah.
We're gonna be on the circuit.
Yeah, part of the
ITC
circuit,
circuit.
and so why don't you guys? Why don't we explain the difference, or why specifically ITC missions? And so that was there's some contrast. There was another $2 between the other missions and
We are
the ones that
rolling
we were just
heavy.
Into the thesaurus.
we see the difference between the two. So we have some juxtaposition
Whoa.
between
Dropping knowledge.
Adepticon and I Am Out of Money.
Dropping now.
And what we are the future tournaments that we will be doing.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I really like about the ITC mission structure, and Warzone and Paul Murphy are doing a lot of this too, is it's more of a tiered mission structure with a primary, secondary, and tertiary missions, all of which are important. The primary missions, generally, if it's kill points, the secondaries, which are very similar to the Maelstrom games, which, as anybody who's listened to the podcast know, is near and dear to my heart. I do love me some Maelstrom games.
I do like Maelstrom.
Yeah. To add that element of randomness, which adds what Jeff was talking about, putting you on your back foot to have to react to
exactly.
what's going on in game, and then the tertiary missions really
They
kind
vary
of
too from mission to mission. They're not always the same.
and they vary from mission to mission, and it kind of reflects the overall panoply of war. There we go. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Wow, that was like a $15.
That
word.
was cut him a check.
yeah.
Gotta
So-
check. Now let me tell you about the onomatopoeia of your statement. That
Jeff just went bang, bang, bang.
Man, okay.
No,
although
so
it wasn't used correctly, but whatever.
yeah, no.
No one cares. Fit it in. I got it in on the
You
podcast.
got it in though. You got it in. So
I think you just ran for Republican Senate right there.
Wow. That was.
we are also announcing candidacy.
That's right. Jeff is announcing his candidacy.
right.
No,
Yeah.
So
People's hero.
yeah, People's Hero,
People's hero.
making 40K great again,
Oh God.
dropping the
man.
red dice.
Oh God.
So no, what we're
move
talking,
on.
what we're looking at is you're looking at the things that an army would want to do. In the function of what battle actually is: assassinate a leader, capture ground,
Yeah.
those things that make a war game feel like a war game. It's those kind of mission critical things that you know that 40K really wouldn't be 40K if you didn't have those iconic tertiary missions.
Right.
And
keep
ITC
it
brings
fresh, too.
that in such great, flavorful ways.
And plus, like, the missions are easy to understand, but they're also hard hitting.
Absolutely.
So, like, you know, again, like we said, there's definitely that tactical side to it, but it's still simple. So it's easy to pick up and it's easy to play. And plus, the way that their Maelstrom is set up is it's quick, but you still get that randomness.
Absolutely.
And there's not like, oh, I drew Domination and you drew Secure Objective 1, which is right next to you. It's like there's still a lot of variance to it. And it's still, I think it's probably I don't want to say the most fair, but it's definitely... what's the term? Standardizing Maelstrom almost. I guess I can't think of a good word.
The most balanced.
Balanced is a
format.
good for Maelstrom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I love Maelstrom. I love the cards, but I think it's tough in a competitive
In
setting.
a competitive,
Right.
yeah.
To not give
Yeah.
up a mission critical
Right,
objective
exactly,
at the wrong point,
Yeah.
Right,
where you're only
exactly.
winning on the cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there are 3 different missions. So there's Eternal War. There's Maelstrom. How does the scoring work for the people that are going to be, you know, attending our tournaments? And,
So-
you know, just a brief,
Brief overview of ITC. So you have 2 primary objectives, I guess you could say. You have there's an internal, at least the ones that we're going to be running, at least for the combined arms stuff. The combined arms, because there's 3 mission sets for ITC for those out there. We're going to be using combined arms for most of them. There is a Eternal War part, which is usually it's actually pretty much based off of the book missions. So usually the title will actually reflect what is the mission from the book. So like, you know, Secure and Control, or there is the Relic.
Undefeated.
And then there's
Team
the
Relic.
Maelstrom side. So both of these these 2 missions, their scores are separate in your some of your points. Their Maelstrom goes towards your Maelstrom score, and then what you score on the Eternal War side goes towards your Eternal War score. So then after the mission's done, you compare your Eternal War score to your opponent's Eternal War score. If your Eternal War score is higher, you win that mission and you get 8 points. So the max in these missions is 19. You get 8 for a win in either the primary, so 8 for Maelstrom, 8 for Eternal War, and then each of the tertiaries, which could be Slay the Warlord, Four Corners,
King of the Hill,
stuff like that. Those are 1 point each. So a maximum of 19 points. So again, you compare Eternal Wars to get the Eternal War score. If you win it, you get 8 points on that. If you tie, you both get 4, and then obviously if you lose, you got 0 for that. And then you compare for your Maelstrom scores. Whoever has the higher one gets the 8 points. If you tie, it's the 4, and then if you obviously lose it, you get 0. So you have I think the hang up is for players who aren't used to it is you have to keep your points achieved through Maelstrom separate from the points you achieved during Eternal War. That's how you score it, which is the real big difference from just a typical one-line Maelstrom game.
And isn't it 21 points total? Aren't there 3 tertiary missions for every mission?
Yeah, but they're 1 point each.
Yeah.
Right.
So 8 and 8 is 16 plus 3
math is hard.
is 19.
We just took his check back.
Perfect.
Rolls back around.
We just withdrew that. Okay.
Perfect on one side of the SAT. Guess which one it was.
Yeah.
Well, it was well done on one side, and it was
Yeah,
a little
so
rare on
much-
the other.
So
Such reach. Oh,
yeah, what I like about the ITC missions is I'm a big fan of the first level of building is complete line of sight blocking.
Oh yes.
So it
So
forces you
there
to-
are for those of you out there, there are special rules involving these ITC missions outside of just the mission.
Yes, you do have to move around buildings. So even if there are like holes and
Doors and all that.
doorways and stuff, windows, you still cannot see through them. There's debris, imaginary, things blocking your vision, so you have to go around, and it forces what I like is it forces the movement phase a little bit, and it forces you to be a little bit more tactical than you would normally play a Maelstrom mission, because you can just shoot through a window or whatever.
Sure.
So I'm a big fan of that, and I do like the breakdown of those, and then playing the either old school. Well, that's the championship mission with the old school and the other stuff, rolling the dice.
that's-
I'm a big.
that's
Actually, those are my favorite ones, but
Yeah, we'll keep
keep those. We'll do
keep
those
those
later.
in the pocket for the
Yeah.
big stuff. And
Yep.
Yeah. So
I do want to say though, shout out to Frontline Gaming and all the ITC stuff that they do to make this stuff great. If you want to look for their missions and all what we're talking about, it is on their website.
yes,
Yep.
and we should be putting up some tags with this stuff, so that way you can take a look at the missions, and if you want to read for yourself how they work, and then maybe do they have like links where they can see how you score, and how to write down the scores, submission packs, so that way you
there's
can
guidance. They have little rules.
That way the points could be confusing. How to break that down, so that way they can see that.
They actually even outline how to do Swiss scoring.
Oh, perfect.
All there for you. So if those of you unfamiliar with Swiss scoring, it's basically another level of points just to separate. Because obviously when you leave, the maximum score of 19, a lot of people can tie. Like games can tie, and it's hard to rank players who's doing the best in the tournament. So when you have Swiss scoring, basically you get extra points for winning, a little bit of extra points for tying, and obviously no extra points for losing. So that can give you another level to distinguish, separate players apart by how well they're doing in the tournament, to actually give you a good
rubric
or just an easy choice of who actually won the tournament.
Mm-hmm. So one other thing that we want to talk about with tournaments, and I highlighted it in the beginning, there is this stigma with playing tournaments that of the win at all costs player. I know, Jeff, you and I give G a lot of shit for being a whack player. He's likes to
whack
win,
player in the best way possible.
But I would say that
whack come from whack as a whole. It's such a different thing. Yeah, you don't want to be whack.
Yeah, it's
no one wants to be whack.
At 40K, you don't want to be whack either.
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole reason.
Yeah. Whack, yo. That's whack.
Straight whack.
That's true. Okay, to put it that way, yes, he's not a whack player. Like he will win at all costs, but he's not like a dick about it.
And
which that's the key.
Oh, I'm a dick.
Stunningly, but not on the table. You're a fairly decent guy on the table.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
But stunningly, a lot. I feel a lot of this is just negative publicity of people who don't go to tournaments.
You rarely see the actual dick player, the
Right.
true
That
whack
guy.
player.
Yeah.
You rarely see that guy.
I've never. I don't think I've seen one in real life.
That's the unicorn of the 40K world.
Yeah, like I tell you, I don't
to
know if I've seen one in real life in this area.
Honestly, I think it's a bigger problem at the local level in terms of pickup games. I think it's a bigger problem.
I
don't know.
I think
'Cause
when
you get
when
matched
you're
up with-
violating the social contract, yes, we've talked about that
Right.
before. Yes, that is
I feel
absolutely
like that's where
a
it comes up
problem.
more often, though.
But I will disagree with you because I do feel that there is some gamesmanship. We've talked about a little bit on the podcast before. The events that happened around the LVO.
But that was just a really publicized case, and that's why it's on everybody's mind.
Absolutely. I'm not talking about it being the general rule.
Right.
I'm just saying that it tends to rear its head at the top tables, and it creates a general overview of what the overall tournament experience is like. Even though it may be
misconception.
Right, exactly. Which
Okay, so we agree.
we agree, but
I think you agree.
okay.
It's everyone's welcome to come and play these tournaments. Expect people to bring like really good lists. Expect people to spam some stuff, but like you're gonna have some fun, and people are gonna be nice. And if you run into the person that you think is not nice, you can just go to a judge or somebody and say that. Now, me, I would just tell them like, you're an asshole, or you're not nice, or I don't know, you're not nice.
I think it was straight up you're an asshole.
Yeah,
that's
like I'll say,
come
or
up.
like, hey, you're milking the clock. Like I have no issue with like calling out anybody for
Absolutely.
anything. You know what I'm saying? But some people are not like that. They just they don't like confrontation or something.
Right.
So, but like I said, I've not seen that here. So like, I really don't think that's going to happen at, and knock on wood or whatever. So will you see that at the high end levels? I don't know, maybe out of
200 some players.
It's a low percentage.
It's such a low percentage.
Yeah.
That's
Sure, it happened on stream, but like,
it's the reason
how many
that I
games
wanted
of
to bring it
40K?
up.
Yeah, how many 40Ks did they play to
Plus,
that one game?
200
you know?
players, and then they're playing 5 to 6 games.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
in the
it's the reason
thousands.
it's the reason that I wanted to bring it up is it's part of the misconception of what the tournament experience is.
Yeah.
Fair.
what you will experience at tournaments, and this varies. Your mileage may vary on this, of course, because we can say on a local level we are going to have some painting scores, but it's not the end all be all. It's not going to be a high. I
would like to see painted models, please.
But
please.
When
it pains me to see.
When you're going to a large scale event,
yes, you do need to have painted.
You need to have painted models, and
right, the locals one, it's not needed, but
it's
3-color minimum, right?
3-color minimum is a
10
10 point for your overall tournament. So
it's 10 points.
10 points for the overall tournament.
Yep. So keep that in mind if you plan on doing. Does that include GTs, RTTs, or
that's just RTTs for us,
RTTs
for what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, and generally speaking, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. RTTs, the painting requirements is usually lax, and it's just a bonus, painted, unpainted, whatever the case may be. Once you get into the GTs, you get into the painted armies, and I got to take a minute to wax poetic about how awesome it is to play a game of 40K with a fully painted army that's themed out with good terrain on a great table.
What did we just play? We played on Mars.
With your Astra Militarum and Orcs.
AdMech, please.
AdMech, yeah, sorry. Wrong AM. It's all Imperial. It's all shit.
So it was fun. Like, his army was painted incredibly. Like, mine's painted okay, but his was painted incredibly. We had the Mars terrain, the Mars mat.
Yep.
And with the building. Oh,
great contrast with the red and the green.
Yeah,
like I said, that's why it works.
So much fun. It was one of the best games I've played in a while.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, we will get people that, ask, hey, why do I have to paint it? I just want to play. And there's several reasons, but the main reason is, like, if somebody travels to come to a tournament, they want to play, and they've taken the time to paint their army, and
it's not just your benefit; it's your opponent's benefit.
Yeah, they really want to play against something that is equally. They don't have to be perfect, but the love that they put into their army, they want to see that in their opponent's army, and it does add this level of, like, that their opponent equally cares about. They're invested into the game and into what is currently happening, at the tournament. So
yeah, and I think honestly, especially when people are traveling for these big tournaments,
yeah, absolutely,
there is a small subset of the population who has a good feeling they're going to be in the top.
Oh yeah,
so like, you're going for the experience. You're not going like, oh, I'm going because I'm going to dominate. There's definitely some players who are definitely going to do that, and they will do that because they're just that guy.
Yep.
Not that guy, but the guy who's going to be
they're
really well.
that good.
Right?
Win.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. But a majority of those players are going just for the experience, to play in this, this grand event with all these players from all over with these fantastic armies. Like, that's what they're going for.
Absolutely.
Is the experience, to see all the love you put in your models and all the love that I put in my models to play against and have a good time.
And to get that, to expand that player base out to somebody, what are the chances that a guy from Ohio gets to play against a guy from California? How often is that going to happen?
Exactly.
And what, you end up as a player who's not going with who's not going with the expectation of winning the tournament. You have your own mini goals. Can I go to Adepticon and win a game? That's a feather in my cap if I can, because that is everybody's coming from around the United States, and if you can pull off one win, you've done something.
Even if you don't win a single game, you play all 6 rounds, and you play against a different army that's painted and it looks beautiful, you will find appreciation with that, and you're going to be like, man, that was fantastic. I got tabled by Slanesh round 1, and then there were these awesome orcs that were on snow round 2, and then 3, like, it was Gilliman, but they were like in stealth black.
Yeah.
That's
what you go for.
fine. That's what you go there for.
It fills the hobby bank up so much.
Yeah, exactly. And then it gives you ideas of what you want to do with your army.
Yeah.
So that's why you should paint your stuff. And like I said, at the small scale stuff, no one's gonna,
it's encouraged.
It's
but
encouraged,
it's not
but
required.
but when we get to the other stuff, you definitely want to be painted.
Yeah.
So we've been talking a lot about a tournament, and our first one will be at
second one.
Second one.
First ITC.
Yeah, that's what I said first. This is our first ITC, official ITC. We'll be at the game shop in Vermilion. Paul, the
store proprietor.
Yeah,
Great
really,
guy.
really great
April
guy. Super been a huge supporter from
Friend
the
of the
beginning.
show.
Friend of the show. Love
So, he's hosting us.
April 28th.
April 28th. So, we'll put the address in the description and
Link to the event on
link
Facebook.
to the event and stuff, so that way you guys can sign up there and decide to pre-reg. There's an option to pre-register and pay ahead of time, or I guess you can pay the day of, but that doesn't guarantee you a spot. So there's some options there, but it is. This will get you some ITC ranking, right? If you want to,
Yes, it'll be on the circuit.
it'll be on the circuit. So if you want to build those points, and if you want to,
And for the Midwest, that's something that's kind of lacking.
Yeah.
Our big events, even Adepticon, you go out as far as Chicago, you're not getting ITC points. We're bringing the
true.
ITC to the Midwest.
yeah,
Bringing it.
right. Atlanta is the closest other one. Or
Virginia has some ITC events, but nothing in Pennsylvania that I know of. I know for sure nothing in Ohio because Buckeye Battles is an ITC. Origins
I
is an
thought it was.
ITC.
The Toledo one is
No,
either.
Toledo isn't. They run Adepticon missions.
Oh shoot! So
no,
yeah.
I'm sorry. They run Nova missions.
Nova. All right, so yeah, we're bringing it. So like, yeah, if you
Pioneers,
want-
some might call us.
Yeah. So
Others might call us pretentious, but we don't pay any attention to that.
Not at all,
yeah. So yeah, and if if you've listened to other podcasts and now you're listening to this one, things have changed a little bit. We're changing the format up a little, and hopefully you like it. But yeah, today we just wanted to talk about the tournament stuff in the future of the Chainsaw Diaries,
and really encourage you.
Landscape.
Really encourage you, even if you're not playing in a Chainsaw Diaries tournament, which you totally should play in a Chainsaw
You
Diaries
should do that. We
tournament.
highly encourage that.
Yeah, but if it's a little far away for you for the time being,
It's not required, but it's preferred.
yeah, absolutely. Play in your tournaments in your local scene. Play in your big tournaments. Go to Adepticon. Go to Nova.
Man.
Go out there and enjoy that scene because
Spread your 40K wings.
it is the highest form of gaming you
put a
will
jump pack on.
Yeah, fly like those assault marines.
fly like those assault marines. Yeah, and just stay in the. Does that mean that you just have to stay in the travel case because nobody plays assault marines? If you fly, the only way that
face.
assault marines fly is in luggage.
Fly. That's good.
Damn.
I think we got to end on that. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
All right, guys. So Jeff, why don't you take us out, man?
I roll ones, so you don't have to.
And we're signing off from Chainsaw Diaries at Immortals Inc. Studio. I'm going to give that one more time, G. And we're signing off from Immortals Inc. Studio. This is the Chainsaw Diaries. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We have all of your 40K stories.